following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. A city that is known for their beer, their brats, their baseball, cream. How weird that sounds. I'll explain in a minute. Some good IndyCar racing, since I see that photo right there. And other types of historic racing dating back to 1906. This is the Milwaukee Mile. It is the oldest, to my knowledge, track in America. Again, going all the way back to 1906, this track opened up. It was once a horse racing track that obviously they put asphalt on it and turned it into a racetrack in the small town of West Allis, Wisconsin, right outside Milwaukee at the state fairgrounds. And that's where we are here as we get ready for race number 9 of this TI Racing Gen 4 series. I am the captain. We welcome you in on this Tuesday evening. Hopefully you're having a good night here so far. Take a look at the point standings as qualifying is about to begin on this 1 mile oval. And this is unofficial, by the way the points are set up here. Stephen Miles leads by 16 over Kyle Ether. Colby Wells third. Alex Bryson fourth. Casey Carrington, your top 5 in points. That is without a drop. And if there's any kind of disqualifications or anything that has happened in the last few weeks, they're not on here. I'm just going to put that in there and go from there. So that is where we sit right now as we go into this 4th race of the season on this very tricky 1 mile track in these these Gen 4 cars. I about called them next gen cars. As cars go out on the track, Dylan Rosenberg, who literally purchased this track all of 30 minutes ago, he's out on track right now, coming off turn 4 as he crosses the start-finish line. This track a lot like New Hampshire when it comes to the flatness, the oval. Only 6 degrees of banking. So picture the Pocono Raceway. I always reference this track with turn 3 at Pocono. That's what we got here. We got 2 turn 3s at Pocono, basically. 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 that are very flat. You can run pretty much bottom to middle, but you want to be down on that bottom. That is the fastest way around this track as Rosenberg completes lap number 2 here in qualifying. Dominic Russo in the Acid Walls car on track in the 63. You see Craig Martin also out there in the 22, the triple twos. 222, as Rick Ross would say, as Dominic Russo's. Well, perfect timing for me to talk about pit entry, being the trickiest spot right here on pit road, as obviously it cuts into the wall over there off of turn 4, so you got to be very tricky of that, as we'll be pitting multiple times here this evening. Craig Martin brings the triple two off the back or off the turn 2 area down the back straightaway up to about 150 miles an hour or so down into turn 3 and 4. Let the car rotate through the corner at about 99 to 100 miles an hour. Rotates all the way off and down the front straightaway here. As Craig is a 30.835 right now, the pole sitter. Kyle Ethier in the 8 car, the Sharpie Budweiser number 8 on track. Casey Carrington, who's here tonight, has run a 38 flat. He is P2 right now on the grid. That's without practice, so good lap on his part. Ethier slides in there with a 30.95. And he's still got a half a lap here. See if he can grab the pole. Chris Lewis in the green. Nobody else in the purple. So this might be Craig Martin's pole here. As Ethier slows up and gives up that time. So that is your top 4. And as you know, we're getting later in qualifying because here comes Alex Bryson and Stephen Miles to the track, as they usually wait it out, let the weather maybe cool down a little bit here. No lights at this track, so it should be set to 4X when it comes to the weather. Or what Lewis has done throughout the season here. Of course, back in its heyday, the Milwaukee Mile was ran by the Xfinity Series. All the way up until the late 2000s into the teens. The Truck Series also ran here. Of course, Indy cars run here on and off. They're back here again this year. Which, as Bryson goes with a 77, and Miles lays down a 52. And takes the pole as see Bryson can go faster on lap number 2 here. The Indy car on iRacing at this track is phenomenal racing. That and the PM 2000, I think it is, I ran here once. As Bryson misses it by 3/1000ths of a second. And that's going to do it for qualifying. Stephen Miles going to be on the pole for the race here at the Milwaukee Mile. We are going to go trackside for the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, here we go, getting ready to go racing in this 1 mile flat track called the Milwaukee Mile. As we see the grid is set and we look at the starting lineup, 12 cars here. And you see them all right there. Stephen Miles, Alex Bryson. They will be on the pole. Craig Martin, Kyle Ethier, row number 2. Casey Carrington, Dylan Rosenberg. Row number 3, Nick Uricchio, and AJ Vasseur making an appearance in the series here tonight. He'll start in row 4. Chris Lewis, Aaron Beaver, row 5. Dominic Russo and the debuting Angelo Ortiz. The rookie driver in the 15 will start in the 12th position as the cars roll off. Race information tonight, as I mentioned, a 1 mile flat track. 70 degrees, 78% humidity, partly cloudy skies with 18-mile-an-hour winds, so going to be a little windy. 50% fuel, 3 sets of tires. Track temp sitting at about 104 right now at this race venue. 2 races to go here in Talladega next week. But first, we got to get through and survive the Milwaukee Mile as the pace car is going to hang a left right there in this tricky entry to pit road, and Stephen Miles is going to lead him to the green flag here at the Milwaukee Mile. And of course, our camera is presented by TrackCams22.com. You check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. Field pretty spread out here as they go down to turn 3. Kyle Ethier going to edge ahead a little bit there in that middle groove. Craig Martin there in the bottom. Got to be very careful. His car does want to spin out on exit. As we complete lap number 1 of 70 here. You want to put the car right down on that yellow ramp or rumble strip, whatever you want to call that thing. It pretty much separates the pit exit to the track. And you put your left front tire right down on this yellow rumble strip all the way out of the corner. There's Craig Martin getting loose. He's going to be the first one almost to spin around. He saves it there. Good save by the Canadian 222 car. As we ride on board Chris Lewis, he is past Russo for the 9th position here. Again, if you drive this track like New Hampshire, that's pretty much the comparison here. Both about the same degrees of banking. The difference is you got progressive banking at New Hampshire, where here you have just the straight up 6 degrees all the way from bottom to top. As Carrington and Rosenberg battle for the 5th position here, right behind them, Vasseur, the inside of Craig Martin. Carrington was, of course, running a part-time schedule this season, was planning on last week being his final race, but decided he would come on out tonight as he had nothing going on apparently on a Tuesday night. So you mentioned, I mentioned earlier in the intro, you might have, oh, and around goes AJ Vasseur, back straight away. Caution's going to come out as the 07 Menards car goes for, here we go, do-si-do. Let's see what happened there. Just looked like he got loose off the corner, which again, tripped them tires on the backside with the horsepower in these things. Very easy to do around here. He gets down on that yellow rumble strip there, goes up the track, and you see the back end just swings around on him. Locks it down, no harm, no foul. Other than the caution coming out for the first time. I mentioned during the intro tonight that this city was famous for brats and burger and beer, baseball, and then I said cream. You might wonder what that meant. Well, I learned this to another league when they hosted a race here called the Cream City 150. Turns out that this city is known as the Cream City, the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. And the reason being is that the buildings, the older buildings structure in the city, are actually painted a cream color. And apparently all the buildings at the older times, back in the heyday, were built that color. So, hence they call it the Cream City. I found kind of interesting. Has nothing to do with beer. While we're under caution, a reminder, you can go to 4dracewear.com if you're looking for gloves and shoes for your iRacing adventure. Make sure you check out 4dracewear.com. We got some information there in the description about 4D Racewear. And then just type in 4dracewear.com and say hello to Jim Herrick and let him know that we sent you over. Of course, it's based out of the Indianapolis area. The gloves, the shoes. I wore the shoes to a victory yesterday in a IndyCar Fixed, before, the last split before we went to week 13. And you can too. Make sure you get them. And a big shout out to Jim He lets me put his colors on my open wheel car. I'm out there racing now, which I'm having a blast doing. Outside the Indy 500 this weekend. That was not fun. All right, going to go back green. Miles, Bryson. Rosenberg up to third. Carrington up to fourth. Craig Martin fifth. It's kind of funny. Casey Carrington in that 37 car, of course, remnants of the David Green, of course, driving that car to a championship. You had Jeff Purvis, who drove that car, but there was a teammate car to that, the old Castrol number 27. He was a recent guest on the Dale Jr. Download a few weeks ago. But driver I enjoyed watching and cheering on, thought had great talent, and unfortunately got wasted, but got his first Busch Series win here back in 2000, and that being Casey Atwood. From the same hometown area there as the driver of that 37 car. How it all ties together. As we go green, lap number 9. As you see, got to be very patient, rolling to the throttle here. Got to treat it like there's an egg underneath that throttle pedal. Step on it too hard, you're going to spin it out, you're going to crush that egg. You don't want to do that. As Ethier is going to go by Chris Lewis. You saw Ethier and a couple others come to pit road topping off the fuel cell. Again, don't ask me fuel mileage wise or anything. I have no clue. I'm guessing if I go off like the New Hampshire numbers, probably going to be about 25, 30 laps on a tank of fuel. With the 50% is Miles getting pressured here by Bryson. Roar down the back straightaway here into turn 3. Oh, Lewis going to go around and hit the inside wall. That'll bring the caution out. Apparently Lewis doesn't like eggs. He just got on it a little too early. You can hear him rolling the throttle, but then he stepped on it. You want this car. There's somebody a long time ago told me a perfect analogy for this. Picture yourself driving. If you got the wheel in front of you right now and you're watching on the stream, you're turning the wheel, right? Picture a rope attached to from your throttle pedal to your steering wheel, right? And every time you touch the pedal, it pulls your steering wheel to the right. Okay, so you're turning left, you're off the throttle through the corner, and then you're edging into the throttle, which means you're turning the wheel back to the right a little bit, trying to keep the car straight, roll it off the corner, and then you're full throttle and your wheel is straight again. That's almost how you want to treat this track, because of you want to have this car as straight as possible with the flatness. There's nothing to catch the car on the banking. So when you spin the tires, it just, hey, zings around, it spins on you. As Captain Skull watches. See him as leaders and others come to pit road. Some leaders, I should say. Guess we should go live, shouldn't we? And it looks like some car is going to take tires here. Bryson, Carrington, Vasseur, Russo, Lewis all taking tires here at this lap 13 caution. Do want to send a shout out to all the viewers in the month of May. I kind of shared this out in the social medias. I made a comment to this on Sunday during the league race there. But the month of May, not only was it big for IndyCar fans, and obviously we were trying to watch Kyle Larson do the double. Unfortunately, that kind of failed us a little bit. But it was big on the Captain Esports Network side. It was the most viewed month in the history of the Captain Esports Network. Now, a lot of that is for the YouTube Shorts, which, hey, the reason why I'm putting them out there so that we can get recognition some more and let people see the racing that we put on each night. And, of course, the broadcasting and stuff, too. And big shout-out to all the viewers for helping us with that and all the new subscribers. Where's Lewis going? But as I've said 100 times, and I know it's a cliche that a lot of people use, but if it wasn't for the viewers, I wouldn't be doing this right now. So, appreciate everybody for what they do here for the Captain Esports Network. So we're going to come back to green as Miles and Rosenberg, who literally, as I mentioned, bought the track about an hour and a half ago, takes the green flag in the outside row, and that Valvoline Chevrolet. Miles launches. Nick Uricchio up to third. His teammate Beaver there on the outside lane. And here comes Dominic Russo, who's going to send it from Road America. This track's wide, by the way. 3, are we 4 wide? Fresh tires going to work. Angelo Ortiz is back there holding on for the ride. He's, I think he's kind of new to the sim, I wonder. At least newer, maybe. We had a lot of uploading and stuff to do, but he's just out there just trying to survive. Doing his best, just logging laps. Appreciate him for being here tonight. It's going to be the final broadcast until Sunday, by the way, for those curious. After tomorrow, I actually go on a road trip to New York, upstate New York, back where I used to live. And going to bring the family home. And Saturday we'll be here, and from that point forward, you'll probably start hearing a 5-year-old screaming in my background. So that'll be an interesting addition to the broadcast. He'll be fun. So I cannot wait for them to be here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And Carrington looking to the inside of Rosenberg here. Dylan giving him a good run for his money here. You got a guy that's probably run this track a lot in his time here on iRacing versus a guy that, again, I mentioned bought this track an hour and a half ago, so he's got roughly probably 60 laps on it. You put practice in there. So we're back there dancing off turn 4. Roughing the wall up a little bit. Laps complete here. So let's looking up some of the history about this track. As I mentioned 1906. I've actually got it wrong. It was built. That's what I get for paying attention here. It is hosted. How about this one? This is a number for you. Track actually opened in 1903, not 1906. And oh, by the way, it has hosted at least one auto race from 1903 until this year, 2024. Another race will happen there, and that'll be the IndyCar Series when they return. So 121 straight years, there has been a major race, if it's NASCAR, USAC, Kart, Champ Car, or IndyCar Series, whoever. I mean, you name the famous racers, they have raced here at this track, which I think is incredible. And yes, this was a dirt track, as I mentioned Back, this one's really going to get you. So that was from 1903, right? In 1871, or 1876, I'm sorry. It was a 1 mile horse track. So the track's actually even older than what I said it is. So there's a lot of history at this 1 mile track. As Casey Carrington, who pitted for tires under that caution, lap 13, passes Miles for the lead. And, well, he hasn't cleared him yet. Miles down there on his door, just kind of trying to side draft him, trying to get the rough corner, but Carrington just too good of tires right now. And clears to 24, goes to the lead here. At lap 24, and here comes Bryson with him. Track actually home of the first ever rain date, believe it or not. 1933, the race was rained out, apparently. Wilbur Shaw and other drivers actually convinced the track promoters to run the race on the following day. Hence the term rain date was actually brought to the world in that race. That was kind of unique. It's really cool stuff here to read about on the Wikipedia page. Let's go up here to the 7th place battle. I think that's 6th place now as Rosenberg's fallen back. You see Vasseur's gone by, Kyle Ether's gone by. So the fresher tires start. No, hold on, Aaron. Aaron did hold on. Good job. Turn 4 seems to be biting some people today. Trying to send it in there on the 91. Climbs up on that curve a little bit. Got to be careful of that. It'll push you up into the other car. Uricchio makes the pass. They put a lap on the 15 of Angelo Ortiz. And now Craig Martin going to show up into the picture. You see how wide this track is. Much like traditional tracks that were made for like horse racing and stuff. You go back to like the Syracuse Mile, which originally was a dirt track. I don't remember it being necessarily a horse track, but those surfaces are usually really wide. You go look at DeCoin, you go look at Springfield, that mile track out in Illinois. Those tracks are pretty wide. And that's because they host multiple styles of racing around it. These cars are slipping and sliding out here right now. Let's check the weather and see where we're at right now with this. It is just past 1:30. Track temps at only 98 degrees. Not terrible, but still pretty slick, and obviously the sun's out. Martin continues to put the pressure on Rosenberg here. The battle for the 7th position. Dominic Russo hanging in there, doing a good job in the 9th position himself. Martin's just able to get up there to him, but just not able to get that run off the corner. He's almost trying to get the 91 loose maybe there a little bit. Just not able to do it. So Carrington leads by 0.7 of a second. Alex Bryson second. And he's got, oh, caution, AJ Vasseur's going around again. Everybody having issues in turn 4. AJ Vasseur's having issues in turn 2 tonight. And caution out for the third time here at lap 33. This should bring everybody to pit road, I would think. You can see that back end already trying to come around there off of turn 4. There, just bobs and weaves, just trying to hold on to her. And apparently it's not going to spin out like I thought it would right there. Here's where he spins out. And just keeps it off that barrier. All right, here we go, pit stops. Very tight pit road here. Look at everybody squeezed in here. And Carrington will win the race off pit road, followed by Bryson, followed by Ethier, Miles. Let's have a little fun here. We're going to talk to a driver. And we're going to talk to a driver who, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, just purchased this track about an hour and a half ago. And let's get his impressions of it, as he hasn't spun it out yet, which is good. Well, let's talk to Dylan Rosenberg here for a second. Dylan, you got a copy, buddy? All right, let's turn his microphone on here.
Yes, sir.
All right, there he is. All right, so
Things are happening.
I see that. So, obviously, you bought this track about an hour and a half ago. First impressions of the track?
Very loose.
Yes.
Very loose, and I'm not quite sure where to run yet. I guess wrapping the apron down there is where we're supposed to be, and then I found some time down there. I got an extra set of tires in the pits. Things are looking up for me. That caution was very timely, I might say.
Yeah, let me go ahead and help you out with that. Run the bottom and keep it there.
Yeah.
That's the quickest way around the track, right down there in that bottom on that yellow line there. So, yeah, it's all about rhythm and interesting track there. But no, I just wanted to get your thoughts of it. It's a track I don't mind racing, but I know it's a lot of people's not so favorite. And I think it's because it's just a simple flat 1 mile track. And
Yeah, I certainly don't dislike it. I just think the way that this car and this tire model behaves around here, it's a little sketchy. Probably a little more sketchy than it could be, but I mean, it's a fun time.
There you go, man. Well, hey,
I don't completely hate it.
Right? Well, hey, best of luck. Appreciate your time. I know you're going green here in a second, so go get them.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Dylan Rosenberg running in the, where's he at? 6th position right now. At least he didn't have anything negative to say about it, which is good. So AJ Vasor is taking his car behind the wall. A for effort for trying to come out here tonight. I know he usually doesn't race here often, so he just showed up out here trying to race, and unfortunately did not work out for him. All right, just past the halfway point here, 35 in, 35 to go. As pace car pulls a left right there, and Casey Carrington leads him back to the green flag with Stephen Miles, Kyle Ethier, Alex Bryson right there. Everybody came to pit road there. I think everybody came for tires at that point, so everybody should be on fresh tires now. Casey Carrington getting a little loose off turn 4 there, and you see it opens up for AB, and caution back out is somebody has spun it around. It is Dominic Russo. Russo brings out the caution here, lap 38. And let's see what happened to him here. I guess is much like every other incident that has happened here tonight. He probably got loose. There it is. Around goes the. Well, he actually locks it down pretty good there. Nice job on his part to save it. And right there, the 15 going by triggers the yellow. Miles fakes the pit road, and Russo and others coming in here. Or I should say Rosenberg and others. Dylan said he had an extra set of tires. I don't know if I'd use them here. I would just get fuel right now. And you see the pit road, by the way, is not level. I mean, you go up a hill there and you come back down a hill. Yeah, fuel only for Rosenberg. For Eurykio, looks like all these guys fuel only. So I like to call here to get off cycle and not sure if you can make it on fuel all the way to the finish here, but it would set up nicely in this situation. Appreciate the viewers who are hanging out here tonight. Always, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. I didn't know this stat. I knew there were a couple night races ran here at the Milwaukee Mile, but I did not realize they were temporary lighting they brought in for the Truck Series and Busch Series back in 05 and 06. I also did it for the 2003 Champ Car race. That's interesting. Some good facts here as we get ready to go to the green with 30. Make that 29 laps to go. Carrington leading. Bryson putting the pressure on. Ethier third, Miles fourth, Lewis there in your top five. Oh, Ethier's gonna go around and spins it right to the edge of pit road. Gets back out there and gets rolling. And no caution, we stay green. Calamity Corner, turn 4 tonight. Oh, and now Lewis goes around. Turn 4 is Calamity Corner. Breaking news, turn 4 is loose. Lewis giving Ethier lessons on how to spin out, apparently, as caution comes out. Let's see what happens to first Kyle. I mean, you're going to see they both just step on it. That's right there, Ethier just lazy spins it, and thankfully there's a hole right there where pit road is, and he stops himself there. And next time around, here comes Lewis. He kind of noses it into the wall. No harm, no foul there, as both of them are on pit road now. So Talladega will wrap it up next week, Tuesday night. We'll have it for you here at 8:45 Eastern Time, as usual. We'll get the green flag and crown a champion of the Gen 4 Series. Pace car lights are still on. Want to remind you again, 40 Racewear, only your gloves and shoes. If you're one that likes to feel authentic when you're out there on the racetrack racing on iRacing, these shoes are not traditional, like wear them outside type shoes. These are very lightweight and very comfortable when you're out there racing on your rig. You can check them out at 40racewear.com and get your shoes and your gloves and other apparel there today. Obviously, the news coming out earlier today, Kyle Larson finally does get his waiver. I was kind of, I agree with the decision, but I was kind of on that side where I was like, man, if they're not saying anything, I don't think he's getting it. But he definitely gave it to him, which was good news to see. Harvick has announced he's going to run some late model and super late model races in a Busch Light sponsored car, which is cool. Carrington will bring him off turn 4 and back to the green flag here at lap number 47. 70-lap race at the virtual Milwaukee Mile here on iRacing. Appreciate everybody joining us here tonight on the Captain Esports Network. Green flag back out. I mentioned Ortiz is on pit road. Not sure if he's got some issues or is decided to call it a night there, but he's been on pit road for the last minute or so. Carrington's pulled away to about a half-second lead already, almost 3/4 of a second lead as Miles and everybody getting loose back here. How about Eurykio having a good run there in the 4th position? The battle right here between Martin and Rosenberg. Oh, Martin, hold on. Hold on, Craig. Oh, that was almost bad. Down the back straightaway, Miles, Bryson, all within 0.6 of a second, trying to chase down that 37 car. I believe everybody's still got a set of tires to use if needed. Might be a odd opinion on my end, but I think it'd be kind of cool if iRacing did to this track like what they've done at Lanier and a couple others on iRacing and thrown dirt on it. It'd be kind of unique because you would have your own version of like a Syracuse Mile. I guess the closest thing you got to it is the newly released today Oswego Speedway. They actually, as they get towards later on in the season, around October, I believe it is, they actually switched that track to dirt. They put dirt on top of the asphalt, and they run, speed weeks or whatever up there in Oswego. I forget what the proper name is of that week of racing or whatever, and they race on the dirt there at Oswego Speedway. So I think it'd be kind of unique to do, but obviously a lot of updates on iRacing today with the new street stocks. There's a road course out there in Spain that they've released for free. You got the GT3 Mustang and Corvettes. You've got, of course, as mentioned, Oswego is now on here. The only thing we didn't get were the super mods. Come on. Listen to how late before Carrington gets back to the throttle. Miles trying to put pressure on that 37 car. He's within about 3/10, so he's getting closer to him. Catching him's one thing, passing's another, as you know, though. Laps to go. Is Eurechio going to make the pass here on Rosenberg, or he's down there at the bottom? Eurechio up to the 4th position here. Al Ethier must have hurt his car because he is like 20 seconds off the pace here. Or is he trying to save fuel? One of the two. Should mention Ortiz is back on track. He's now 4 laps down. In the race is now Rosenberger's back past Eurechio, so not sure if there's obviously fighting his car with the looseness off. So 0.4 of a second right there, those two. And then Bryson trying to hold on himself there, about 0.8 back from Miles. He's 1.2 back from the lead. As we're starting now to get ourselves into uncharted waters. And by the way, I think I figured out what happened and why Ethier's off the pace here, by the way. Let's go back and look. You see Martin trying to save his car right there. This was back in lap 49. Well, right after this, we cut back, I think, to the lead or whatever. And what I didn't see was, well, Kyle trying similar things here. This time he corrects it and just locks it down. And that's where he lost all of that time. And these two back at it again with 10 laps to go. Greg Martin back there with Aaron Beavert, and Lewis puts himself at the inside wall there. He was dancing all through the straightaway there. I mean, if he hit the inside wall, he barely got it, but he is dirt tracking. I mean, yeah, that car don't look damaged at all, so he must have missed the inside. I thought he was going to tattoo it. Mimsy might have got a hold of that wheel or something. I'm still not convinced that Mimsy don't have the wheel. Riccio trying to slide that nose in there. Not able to do so yet. 7 laps to go. This is the closest battle on track right here. These two within 0.2 of a second of each other. These tires are pretty much torched. Ooh, that almost got close. Sent it in there, lost the nose a little bit. So 4 laps to go for Carrington, who really had no plans of running this race tonight. And stepped in there at the last minute and decided he would show up. And I'm sure there's 11 others in here that probably wish he didn't. Pit strategy with the cautions that happen and stuff, and it looks like Carrington going to be on his way to his 3rd win of the season now, and that'll time with Colby Wells for wins in the season. Colby not here tonight. Laps to go, and there's Carrington off turn 2. You see Miles about a second, 1.1 seconds back, and then Bryson starting to kind of edge in on his teammate there, half second back. That Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram number 24 is Carrington going to bring her off turn 4 and see the white flag. Final lap here from Milwaukee. It was back in 1999 when Casey Atwood went to victory lane out of Nashville, Tennessee, here at the Milwaukee Mile. Tonight, Casey Carrington He's going to bring it off turn 4 and see the checkered flag for the third win of the season, holding off Miles and Bryson. Rosenberg gets 4th, and then Eurykio going to be your top 5. So big congrats to Carrington, as we'll let him do his donuts in celebration. And not sure, he might just actually park it here at the front straightaway here. He's going to try something here. So Carrington gets his third win, as we'll take a look at the finishing order now that he's done with his burnouts. There's your 12 finishers. Carrington, Miles, Bryson, Rosenberg, Eurykio, Martin, Beaver, Lewis, Russo, Ethier, Ortiz, and AJ Vasseur. Your 12 drivers that ran here tonight. And we'll talk to our top 3 finishers, starting with Alex Bryson, who comes home in the 3rd position here tonight. Alex, obviously a tricky race. I know there was a lot of talk about it beforehand, but obviously you went out there and just put together a great race and another top 3 finish for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, just a very tricky track. It takes a very skilled driver, I think, to get around this thing. But yeah, I mean, overall, just slick. Just tried to put the car where I thought there was grip, and sometimes there was grip, sometimes there wasn't. But overall, just, yeah, very tricky race.
Well, obviously you did your part. I know for a little bit it looked like you might have had a car to beat tonight, but then obviously the pit strategies kind of played out there the way it did. Obviously, I know you were trying to probably do something different there to beat your teammate, and then obviously Carrington got out there in the front and obviously changed things up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't trying to beat him by any means. Just trying to stay on his level. His level is just, it's out of this world. So to be even a half a second behind Stephen Miles and Casey Carrington is, for me, that builds my confidence. I'm not very good with confidence. I'm usually beating myself up and stuff like that. But I mean, overall, just, great race. Yeah, pit strategy, definitely, I don't know, it was hit or miss. I felt like taking those tires early on kind of helped me get through the field on that second or third restart, and just tried to maintain it. Thought I had Casey there in 1 and 2, going into 3 and 4, just kind of got loose and, kind of messed up my, Kyle there, and kind of spun him out almost on the pit road, and, kind of shuffle things a little bit. But I mean, the goal was definitely to get in front of Casey and, try to keep Casey behind us. But, I just feel like I didn't execute on my part, but, there's always next week.
Well, great job tonight. Congratulations, obviously, on a top 3 run. How much was it tonight racing the track compared to racing the other cars?
Oh my God. I think you definitely raced the track more than the cars. I think once it got spread out, you kind of just had to maintain the car and keep it level headed, and, try to keep it straight and not sideways. And that's kind of really hard to do here. With that, definitely that paved bottom section, at least that first lane, is kind of where you want to be at. I kind of feel like the so-called rumble strips or the yellow strip around the inside of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I feel like you can get some grip there. I think from previous races or maybe a previous vehicle that I've raced there, you can kind of almost straddle it. That might be the truck, I think, where you can kind of straddle 1 and 2 a little bit. With the pit lane coming off there. But yeah, you definitely race the track more than the drivers, but at the same time, you want to, keep racing those drivers around you, and you can either, move forward by doing that and really driving the car and getting the most out of your car, but at the same time, you can really, kill your tires here. I don't want to say kill. You can really burn up your tires here. It's not very hard to do, especially the right rear coming out of 3 and 4 with that transition, and 3 and 4 kind of has a bump down there, kind of like a dip a little bit. So it kind of unsteadies the car a little bit. So you just try to do the best you can with what you got.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and send some shout out to Relay too.
I gotta shout out my wife and kids, especially my wife letting us take time out of our busy lives to let me do this. I gotta thank my dad, my wife's grandmother. I gotta thank my my teammates. Stephen Miles, first and foremost, that guy is just incredible. So, like I said earlier, just to be around him and run with him is just an honor. Just try to pick his brain as much as I can. Chris Lewis, Kyle Ethier, Dylan Rosenberg was in there. I think Kobe Wells was in there as well. Gotta thank you for putting on these amazing broadcasts, best broadcaster in iRacing and on YouTube. And that's all I got.
Congratulations, buddy. Nice job, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Third place finisher, Alex Bryson, has obviously got to be pretty excited about that. As I click on the wrong button here. There we go. Let's get this guy up here. Stephen Miles finishes in the second position here tonight. Stephen, obviously, for a while, it looked like you might have been one of the faster cars out there, but then the strategies kind of maneuvered its way with the yellows, and unfortunately just one spot short.
Oh yeah, man. It's part of racing. Just stayed out there when they came in and got fresh tires, and after about 15 laps, it kind of even back out, or however long we was out for that time. And when I got the fresh tires, or try to get back on even playing field, it drove good. It was a good race. It was slick out there, hard to handle. Just Casey was the best driver today, and had that clean air, and kept it up there. So good job for him. And I knew it was gonna be some cautions just because how hot the track was or whatever. And I'm pretty sure everybody did the best they could, and it was a pretty good race.
Talk about obviously racing the track in this situation. I know Alex brought it up there. AB did, about how he did it a lot. How much were you doing the same?
Racing the track. I was I do a little experiment in this league, so I ran a ratio probably different than everybody else, and steering offset different than everybody else, and I see how AB was driving it, and pretty much you couldn't really drive your car hard, or you're just gonna burn the right rear off of it, or you're just gonna spin it out. So pretty much you want to be the car in front of the other car because it's that tough to pass regardless of the grip. And yeah, you had to race the track. You couldn't race. I had to race the track, yeah, because I couldn't race nobody else, so I was gonna spin out over driving it. So
Right.
that's the challenges for this track. I'm glad they picked this track, just to switch it up a little bit, and hopefully we get a bigger field next time here. It'll probably be more fun, but it was a good race.
Well, great job tonight, man. Obviously, I put the points up here just to kind of see what they look like here, and I actually just threw the drop in there too. And let's see. Right now, looks like you got a 25-point lead over your teammate, AB.
Yeah, I think Ether said something like that about clinching, which is pretty much what I've been trying to do the last few weeks of up and downs, and
Yeah.
it's been a rough week every single day. So I just been trying to just make consecutive finishes in the top 3 or 4, get good qualifying, and try to not to wreck myself and get this championship, man. That's a main goal for every driver starting the league, and wins come, but championships are better. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do. Got one more race to do it.
Yeah, that's a fair point on his part. Yeah, it looks like you will have it, unless obviously you get a bigger field next week at Talladega. So,
which
Just
we might have it because
might have
everybody
it.
loves a good super
Right.
speedway race.
So just show up and it's yours. So obviously when the drop week in there too, who knows what that could do. So we all know last season how that works. So
Yeah.
obviously yeah, congratulations. Send some shout outs whoever you want to.
I want to shout out to iRacing, Ethier, Dylan, AB, Lewis, Kobe Wells. He fortunately couldn't show up tonight, and appreciate you, man. Do a hell of a job, man. Night in, night out, all these leagues, man, and you do a great performance every single time. Even if you're sick, you come through. So appreciate you. Appreciate the drivers and the fans that watch us, man, every night when we run these races and hang in there with us, especially Alf and Dad like that. Thank God, thank my girlfriend, and that'll be it, man.
There you go. Well, great job tonight, man. Great second place finish.
Have a good one.
You too. As Stephen Miles finishes P2, congratulations to him on that. And looks like the champion when it's all over with here for season number 11. And let's get the guy who's now tied for the most wins on the regular season, who now has as many wins as Casey Atwood does at this track.
Is that the lead in?
Yeah, I guess so. That's kind of how I called you to
I
finish.
haven't.
You both are from Nashville, so I mean, hey,
I give no long speech tonight.
you do whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't plan on racing this track until about 10 minutes before the race, and haven't driven on this track in over 2.5 years, or over 2 years. So I'm just as surprised as anybody that I won. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun, I guess. I mean, the racing was fun. I mean, shout out to Bryson and Miles. That was a lot of fun, especially me and Bryson there on that one restart. We were sliding in on each other pretty much every corner. It felt like a dirt race. There's not a lot of guys that you can come on here with and trust that they're not going to run you over when you're doing that kind of stuff. And Bryson and Miles are two guys that you can trust with that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. Sucked we had all that flurry of cautions there towards the end because I was going to be about 2 laps short on fuel after we pitted. And so it was going to be interesting trying to save fuel and go fast. But, the cautions kind of took care of that. But, yeah, I mean, hey, I ran like dog crap the last time I raced here, which, like I said, was like 2 years ago. So I'm just glad that I was able to get a win.
Well, obviously, yeah, it worked out for you tonight. How much did, you raced at tracks like Darlington and, Rockingham. I know those are two of your favorites, and those are two tracks that, obviously you have to take care of your car and take care of your tires, and it looked like tonight was that similar situation for you, and I think that kind of helped out.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it mattered for Bryson and Miles, especially Miles at the end. I didn't really worry about my tires too much. I was just driving it hard. I kind of approached it like a short track, like you would almost like a Martinsville, like a bigger Martinsville. I just kind of drove it hard into the corner and tried to straighten the wheel out as soon as I got through the apex and just drove it up off the corner. But there was a couple times, especially on that one restart, where I nearly spun it off of 4. But yeah, I wasn't
everybody
really.
else?
I felt like it was so hard to pass that you couldn't risk saving your tires and getting past because you might not get a chance to pass the guy back. But I mean, I had a tough time coming up through the field at the initial start. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I had the right idea, kind of diving it into the corner. I noticed Miles was kind of arcing a little more, and that might have burned up his right front. But I don't know. I mean, he's probably raced this track 10 times more than I have, so maybe I just got lucky. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun combo. As a young sim racer, I always dreamed of winning at Milwaukee the week after the Indy 500, but I didn't anticipate that would ever come in a stock car. But I have probably 1,000 laps at this track and other sims and Indy cars, but I've probably only ever done like 200 laps or so and iRacing on the track, and it's one of those I kind of forget that I'd owned. So to pick up a win here, that's awesome. I don't know when the next time I'll race here will be, but it probably won't be in a stock car.
Well, still, great job tonight, man. And throw some shout-outs if you haven't already.
Shout out to you for doing the broadcast. I know it was a sparse field tonight. That's the main reason I showed up, is to help you and the other Chris out with that. But shout out to anybody that watched. I know we had some additional viewers than usual that were not present in the race. Shout out to my team, Showtime, Craig, Daniel, Steve. I guess Dylan wasn't here tonight. That's pretty much it. I thought I was retired, but I had to come out of retirement, and I guess the only thing better than going out with a 12-second dominating win is going out on back-to-back dominating wins. So I'll take that, and thanks to everybody for watching.
There you go. Appreciate your time, buddy.
Yep.
Casey Carrington, the winner here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. Congratulations to him on that. And next week we go to Talladega Superspeedway for the final race of the season, where Stephen Miles will likely clinch if he just shows up. So we'll obviously go from there. But yeah, that's it broadcast-wise this week, league-wise, until Sunday. As obviously the GLSR guys tomorrow night, they're off because of week 13. And then Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be out of town. So we'll be back next week. We got a lot of racing to do next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Sunday again. So yeah, we're back on it for almost 5 days next week. So looking forward to it. So appreciate everybody for joining us this afternoon or evening. And everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Stay safe. And always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya.
Copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.